Hello, friends. I hope you guys had a great weekend. So, today we are going to start looking at word problems. And I did a couple examples with you on Friday, but we're going to put these three problems into our notes. And then there is an assignment that you should start working on today. So, let's get started. Let's just, as a refresher, we have our steps up here for simplifying expressions, and that's what we're doing. We're just simplifying expressions. So we're going to first look for parentheses, second distribute, and third combine like terms. Okay? All right, so this says Susan is making a square cake and a rectangle cake. I'm going to be honest right now. I'm going to stop. I'm going to draw a square and a rectangle because I know I need those two things. The square cake has a side length represented by the expression 3 minus 2g. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and let's see. The square cake is 3 minus 2g, has a side length of 3 minus 2g. So I'm going to go ahead and label my square cake 3 minus 2g. Since it's square, since that top is 3 minus 2g, that means the side is 3 minus 2g as well. I'm just going to go ahead and label all my sides because I don't want to forget about one. All right, and let's see. The rectangle cake has a side length represented by the expression 4g plus 8 and a width of 4 minus g. So I'm going to go ahead and label those. I have a length of 4g plus 8. That means this is also 4g plus 8, right? And a width of 4 minus g. So that means this is also 4 minus g. Let's see. Write and simplify an expression to represent the frosting in inches that would be needed to decorate the perimeter of both cakes. So what I'm trying to do here is find perimeter of both the cakes. So I'm going to put icing around just the outside part of it. Okay? So perimeter, let me change to a different color here. Perimeter means I'm adding all the sides. Okay, so I'm going to start with my square cake. I have 3 minus 2g plus 3 minus 2g plus 3 minus 2g plus 3 minus 2g. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 sides. Plus my rectangle cake is 4 minus g plus 4 minus g. That covers this side here and this side here. Then I'm going to do plus 4g plus 8. Plus 4g plus 8. And now I'm looking for my like terms. So I have, So I have a g, another g, another g, 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 and g. So I'm going to go ahead and add those up. I have negative 2 plus negative 2 is going to be negative 4. Plus negative 2 more is negative 6, plus negative 2 is negative 8, plus negative 1 is negative 9, plus another negative 1 gives me to negative 10. Then I have a positive 4, so that's going to go from negative 10, I'm moving closer back to 0, so I'm going to go back down to negative 6, and then positive 4 more means I'm going closer to 0, so negative 6 plus 4 is going to get me down to negative 2. So I should have a negative 2g. And then I have this positive 3, a positive 3, positive 3, positive 3, positive 4, positive 4, positive 8, and positive 8. So I'm going to have a pretty good number here. So we have 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 3 more is 9, plus 3 more is 12. So then I have 12 plus 4 is 16, plus 4 more is 20, plus 8 is 28, plus 8 more is 36, plus 36. So my perimeter for both cakes can be represented by 2g plus 36. So perimeter means I'm adding up all the sides. I wanted to make sure I labeled my picture. The important things here are label your picture. Make sure you label all 4 sides. If you only label 2 sides, then you might forget to add those other 2 sides, okay? So that's important when we are finding perimeter. All right, the next problem here says Saul is fencing a rectangle garden and a triangular garden. So let's draw a rectangle garden and a triangular garden. Let me get a highlighter here. Okay, the rectangular garden has a length represented by 10k minus 3 and a width represented by 2k minus 2. So 10k minus 3, 2k minus 2. I'm going to go ahead and label all the sides so I don't forget anything. And let's keep going. It says the triangular garden has a side length represented by 3k, 2k minus 1, and negative k. So one side is going to have 3k. I'm going to have another side of 2k minus 1 and a negative k. How much more fencing is needed for the rectangular garden than the triangular garden? Okay, so what's really important here is that he says how much more. Okay, so we want to know, we need to figure out first how much fencing would be needed for the rectangular garden, then how much fencing would be needed for the triangular garden, and how much more means we're going to subtract those things. Okay, so I'm going to let me go ahead and use my purple again because that's what I'm using for my rectangle. I'm going to find the perimeter of my rectangular garden first. So I have 10k minus 3 plus 10k minus 3 plus 2k minus 2 plus 2k minus 2. Then I'm subtracting my triangular garden. Oops. So I would be subtracting negative k plus 3k plus 2k minus 1. Okay? So first I want to combine the like terms for each shape. I'm going to combine my like terms here. So I have a 10k plus 10k, which is 20k, plus 2 more k is 12k, plus 2 more k is 14k. Then I have minus 3, which is minus 6, minus 2 more is minus 8, minus 2 more is minus 10. So then I have 4k minus 10 is the expression used to represent the perimeter of my garden, of my rectangular garden. Okay, so now I have minus k plus 3k, so negative 1 plus 3 is 2k, plus 2 more k is going to give me 4k, and then I still have this minus 1. Oops. So then I have minus 1. All right, so now we can go ahead and start to solve. Well, this first set of parentheses here, I don't really need these for parentheses, right? I have this understood 1. If I distribute that, it's just going to give me 14k minus 10. But I also have this understood negative 1 here, and I'm going to distribute that, and that does change what I have in parentheses over here, right? Negative 1 times 4k becomes negative 4k. Negative 1 times negative 1 becomes positive 1. Now I can combine my like terms again. So I have 14k minus 4k. It's going to give me 10k. And then I have negative 10 plus 1 is going to give me negative 9. And that is the expression that represents how much more fencing I'm going to need for my rectangular garden than my triangular garden. Okay? So that represents the difference between the two. Again, it's really important to draw your shapes, label them, and then stop and read. What is it asking me for? It's asking me for perimeter. We're putting fencing around something, so that's perimeter. And I need to know how much more one thing has than the other, so that means I need to subtract. And what's important about the subtraction here is that we distribute that subtraction through to our second set of parentheses. Okay, so now we have George, and he's building a garden in his backyard. He wants the garden to have a total area of 3h plus 54. He knows the length can be measured by h plus 18. How wide will the garden be? Okay, so now let's think about what's happening. He's making a garden. I'm going to assume, since we only have length and width, it's a rectangular garden. He says the length is h plus 18, but he doesn't know the width, okay? But he does know that the total area is 3h plus 54. So the area is the whole, what it takes to fill up the whole garden, right? So what it takes to fill up the whole space. So we know area is length times width, and we know that the area is 3h plus 54. We know that length is h plus 18. So can I plug these two values into this equation and see if we can figure out what the width is? Let's try that. So instead of writing A for area equals length times width, instead of writing A, I'm going to write 3h plus 54. And this equals, I'm going to move my W to the front. I'm going to reorder these things. Multiplication is commutative. That means I can write them as L times W, or I can write this as W times L. So I'm going to put my W here. It's going to be blank. And I'm multiplying that times my length, which is h plus 18. Okay, so now I have to figure out what is W, what goes in this space here. If I had a number there, I would have to distribute it through here, right? And I know that once I distribute it, it has to equal 3h plus 54. So I need to stop and think. What do I have to multiply h by to get 3h? Well, it would have to be 3, right? 3 times h is 3h. So then does 3 times 18 give me 54? Yes, it does. So my width is going to be the thing I would have to multiply my length by to get to my area. And in this case, it would be 3. So I would say W is 3. Okay? So you have a set of problems that are posted. I want you to go ahead and start working through them. You have types of all 3 of these. If you have questions, please, please, please reach out. Email me or catch me on Remind. And just remember, as you're working these problems, it's so, so helpful to draw a picture. Okay, I cannot stress enough how important it is to draw a picture. Every time, draw a picture. It will help you. I promise it will help you. So draw a picture every single time. If you have questions, you don't know what to do, just take a picture of your work, email it to me, and I will